Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. Today in this module we are going to study about the application of remote sensing and GIS in watershed management. As we all know, water is an important resource and vital for human civilization. There are many sources of water like precipitation, glaciers that feeds the river tributaries and form the chief component of watershed. But the main concern today is the misuse of water resource, and that has resulted in the degradation of water resources. Therefore, the study of integrated watershed management has become an important study in order to study about the water resources. Okay student, what is a watershed? We will shortly talk about the introduction part. A watershed is a hydrological unit where all the waters from precipitation in the form of rain and snowfall are drained into a common area and from where it is drained off to a common outlet. The mechanism of watershed display a basin topography which can be as small as footprint or large enough to encompass all the length that drains water into a river and finally enters sea and ocean. The watershed comprises of one large river or stream that would be connected with several other smaller streams or tributaries. The large streams or river get its source of water from all the smaller stream as all the surrounding water flows in to accumulate in the larger stream under the influence of slope and gravity, as we all can see here in picture number 1, which display or which shows the watershed and the catchment areas. There are several watersheds represented by their location and the topographic features in a particular region. Two watershed basins are separated by ridges and hills that are called as the drainage divide. It depends on the slope of basin that separate from different watershed in a particular area. The drainage divide is responsible for draining surface runoff water under the influence of slope, thereby creating basin topography. The surface water flows to meet another stream and tributaries and finally making a watershed of the particular place. The watershed consists of surface water like lake, streams, reservoir and wetlands as well as all the underlying ground waters. A watershed is a precipitation collector and feeds the river life. It is not simply the hydrological unit but also socio-political ecological entity which plays crucial role in determining food, social and economical security and provides life support service to rural people. As you can see here, a watershed in India figure number 3 shows the area demarcation of watershed, and in relation the river basin of India in figure number 4 that displays the river and streams where the particular watershed is the source for water. So, the relationship between watershed and drainage basin is interrelated and the study of watershed is integral in drainage pattern and its basin. Here a note can be studied that the difference between watershed and river basin is both entity that are area of land that drains to a particular water body such as river, lake, streams, etc. In a basin, all water drains to a large river. On the other hand, the term watershed is used to describe a comparatively small area of land that drains to a small stream, lake or wetland. There may be many small watershed within a river basin. Next students, we would like to talk about the factors that determines the geomorphologic characteristic of watershed. Number 1 is the precipitation. The greatest factor controlling stream flow is the amount of precipitation in the form of rain or snow. Number 2 is infiltration. When rain falls on dry ground, some of the water soaks in other than surface runoff and infiltrates the soil. Water that infiltrates will remain in the shallow soil layer where it will gradually move downhills. through the soil and eventually enter the stream by seepage into the stream bank. Water that infiltrates enter much deeper, recharging groundwater aquifer. Water may travel long distance or remain in storage for long period before returning to the surface. Number 3 is the soil characteristic. Clayey and rocky soil absorbed less water that at a slower rate than sandy soil. Soil saturation is also important factors where like a wet sponge. Soil already saturated from previous rainfall can't absorb much more, thus more rainfall will become surface runoff. And number 4 is the land cover. Land covers have a great impact on infiltration and rainfall runoff. Impervious surfaces such as parking lot, roads and developments act as a fast lane for rainfall right into storm drain that drains directly into streams. Flooding becomes more prevalent as an area of impervious surface increases. The next, which is very much important, is the slope of the land. Water falling on steepy slope land run off more quickly than water falling on a flat land. Next is the evaporation. Water from rainfall returns to the atmosphere largely through evaporation. The amount of evaporation depends on temperature, solar radiation, wind, atmospheric pressure and other factors. Transpiration is also important, where the root system of plant absorbed water from the surrounding soil in various amount. Most of these water moves through the plant and escape into the atmosphere through the leaves. Transpiration is controlled by the same factor as evaporation and by the characteristic and density of vegetation. Vegetation slows runoff and allows water to seep into the ground. The next is water used by people. Uses of a stream might range from a few homeowner and business pumping small amount of water to irrigate their lawn to large amount of water withdrawal for irrigation, industries, mining and to supply population with drinking water. The next, which is very much important, is the scale delineating the watershed. A watershed is the land that water flows across or through on its way to common stream, river or lake. A watershed can be large, can be very large, example draining thousands of square miles to a major river or lake or the ocean, or small such as 20 acres watershed that drains to a pond. A small watershed that rests inside of a larger watershed is sometimes referred to as sub-watershed, and which can be seen from the diagram given below. Now let us talk about what is integrated watershed management. The study of watershed is important because the stream flow and the water quality depends on many activities in the area through which it flows. Many of such activities include anthropogenic factor like river pollution, construction of dam and growth of settlement, etc. occur in the land area above the river outflow point. The management of watershed is a sustainable way to use water resources. In understanding the natural resources, the concept of sustainability envisage the smarter way in using resources so as to secure the requirement for the future needs. The watershed management reflect the conservation of water and its usage practices in the light of sustaining the river life, particularly in the upper reach, so as to maintain the quality in the downstream. Integrated watershed management is the process of guiding and organizing the usage of land and other resources in watershed, ensuring sustenance of environment. The main factor in watershed management is how various human activities affect the relationship between water and other natural resources. It aims to provide a basis for actions concerning the development and conservation. The watershed management concern agendas like preventing deterioration of existing relationship between the use of natural resources within a watershed, restoration of sustainable relationship which had been destroyed due to action in the past, and ensuring the best use of resource in watershed. Watershed development approach is an integrated and multidisciplinary approach, thereby suggesting possible exploitation of resources within the limit of tolerance. The conservation of soil and water improve ability of land to hold water, maintaining adequate vegetative cover for controlling soil erosion, and rainwater harvesting and groundwater recharging would reflect some initiative carried out in the path of achieving the management strategies. The resultant factors are highly depicted in proper managerial of resource in physical as well as social, some of which can be mentioned like promote economic and social development of community, employment generation and other income generation, ecological balance. The crop yield has increased in dry land farming, soil loss due to erosion was brought down, large extent of barren hill slope were covered by vegetation, large tract of marginal lands brought under dry land horticulture, development of agro-horti and agroforestry system, water resource were harvested through Nalaban, farm pond, regeneration of grassland for more fodder and grass. Now let us talk about the application of remote sensing and GIS in watershed management. Remote sensing and geographic information system technology has played critical role in all aspects of watershed management, from accessing watershed condition through modeling and presenting alternative management scenario for conservation of watershed, advancement in computer hardware and software, and bountiful availability of resources of digital data mapping of an area have increased and make easier for researchers in the field of GIS technology. GIS application in watershed management has changed from operational support, that is inventory management and descriptive mapping, to prescriptive modeling and tactical or strategic decision support system. Through GIS synoptic view, multi-resolution, multispectral, repetitive offers appropriate method for quick unbiased mapping and monitoring of natural resources both in space and time domain is possible. Timely and accurate information on spatial distribution, land use, soil, vegetation density, forest, geology, water resources, etc. is available. Remote sensing data help in delineation of ridgeline, characterization, prioritization, erosion prone area, etc. Some of the features of remote sensing and GIS in the study of watershed are as follow. Number 1 is the watershed characterization and assessment. The demarcation of watershed boundary, drainage network system, flow accumulation and drainage density can be derived from readily available digital elevation model DEM and USGS National Hydrography Dataset Program. The EPA Environment Protection Agency Basin Database provide enormous water quality data that enhance the development of watershed action plan and identification of existing and potential pollution problem in the watershed. Next is the management planning. The challenges involving water quality and quantity due to natural as well as human induced hazard, that is drought, hazard, material spill, flood and urbanization can be mitigated through proper planning and ensure optimal utilization of the available resources. Information obtained from characterization and assessment studies, primarily in the form of chart and map, can be combined with other data set to improve understanding of the complex relationship between natural and human system as they relate to land and resource with use within watershed. GIS provide a common framework, spatial location for watershed management data obtained from a variety of sources, because watershed data and watershed biophysical process have spatial dimensions. GIS can be a powerful tool for understanding these processes and for managing potential impact of human activities. Next is the watershed restoration, that is analysis of alternative management strategies. Restoration study range from relatively small rural watershed to heavily urbanized landscape coupled with hydrodynamics and spatially explicit hydrologic water quality modeling. GIS can assist in unified water assessment program including the total maximum daily load program. As an example, alternative for restoring a water body or a watershed can be studied by creating digital map that shows existing condition and comparing them to map that represent the alternative scenario. GIS can also provide a platform for collaboration among researcher, watershed stakeholder and policymaker, significantly improving consensus building and offering the opportunity for collaborative work on interdisciplinary environmental policy questions. The integrating capabilities of a GIS provide an interface to translate and emulate the complexities of a real world system within the confines of a digital world accurately and efficiently. Next, students, let us talk about what is the application of watershed modeling. Watershed modeling is considered as an important objective to study in hydrology. Modeling of particular watershed assess the health of a particular watershed for further implementation of different management plans. In watershed modeling, one need to consider every possible aspect that can directly or indirectly influence the particular watershed. Some of the important considerations are soil. Information that can be derived by linking soil data with the soil survey geographic database are erodibility, agriculture capacity, development suitability, septic absorption field, lawn and landscaping, dwelling, small commercial building, local roads and trees. Next is geology. The geology of the surface plays an important role in hydrology, especially geology is a determining factor in shifting of bank lines or watershed boundary. This data is taken from geological survey and by creating a separate vector file to use compile in GIS. Next is impervious surface. Estimation can be derived from land use, land cover data. The NEMO, which is non-point education for municipal officials project, develop an analytical methodology that correlates the amount of impervious surface in the watershed to impact on stream quality. Next is the land use, land cover. This data can be used to calculate change over a period of time of the following land use, land cover: urban land, agricultural land, forest, water, wetland, barren land. Land use, land cover analysis is very much important as it shows the present and a past condition of a particular surface. Next is the groundwater. The groundwater data used to take from the secondary sources like district groundwater board and potential area of groundwater used to access with the help multi criteria analysis by giving weight to every factor that is taken into consideration. Rainfall. Rainfall is the most important in watershed modeling. The amount of rainfall in watershed determines its future applicability in management. The rainfall data can be taken from meteorological department as well as from TRMM, that is tropical rainfall measuring mission. And next is sediment yield. It is estimation of sediment transported by water in a particular cross section. It is a manual process. It also includes bed and banks, samples of sediment. It compiles with other layers by joining the data. Chemical property. Analysis of chemical property of water also collected and tested by manually at numbers of cross section and added by creating separate vector layer. And next is the social data, the present status of the urban utilization of the particular watershed, local dependency on it and associated problem are collected by manual data collection. By creating different vector layer is used to relate with other layers. Next is the factor influencing the watershed modeling. The first one is the groundwater flow. The flow of groundwater is considered as a complicating factor in watershed modeling. The groundwater flow is not controlled or limited by the topography that above the ground. It may flow across the demarcated watershed. In this condition, accessing the groundwater potentiality and accumulation needs multi-criteria analysis. Next is the time factor. The watershed boundary may change over the time. It may shift due to natural causes and erosion and flooding, or due to main induced intervention such as construction of dam, culvert, road, etc. Watershed demarcation needs updates and new technologies that can capture very minute change above the ground, surface elevation and subsequent water routing. Dear student, today in this module we have learned about what is watershed and what are its characteristics, what are the controlling factor for watershed characteristic, and we also have learned about what is the difference between river basin and watershed, and we have also learned about what is integrated watershed management, and we also have learned about the application of remote sensing and GIS in watershed management, and also we have learned about the watershed modeling in various forms. Thank you.